In 35 minutes, Jay gets a little help from his friends with actor Matt LeBlanc and musician Phil Collins. Your local news is next.
Coming up, would you like that on the rocks? A whiskey warehouse goes up in flames tonight, and problems plague America's military again. We'll tell you what has commanders up in arms next on News Channel 11 at 10.
Here's something so new, so different. Fast food will never be the same. Your choice of crispy chicken, fish, or shrimp. Savory seasoned rice, fresh lettuce, perfect tomatoes, one of 3 incredible sauces, and a wonderful way to wrap it all up. Introducing Long John's Wraps, $1.99 and $2.99, only at Long John Silver's. Take a fresh look at Long John's.
Most customers think that Italian clothing is so expensive that it's beyond their affordability. Our Vito Ruffalo line, whether it's in dress suits, sport coats, slacks, or shoes, offers quality Italian fabrication with quality construction. Vito Ruffalo, Italian clothing at prices that men can afford. I guarantee it.
On Slide Road across from South Plains Mall.
You're number 1. It's time to celebrate. So your Mercury dealers are having a Grand Marquis Success Celebration because Mercury Grand Marquis is the number 1 selling full-size car in the Southwest. It's also number 1 in owner loyalty. And if safety's a number 1 priority, Grand Marquis just received the government's highest front crash test rating, 5 stars. Plus, it's the only one with $1,000 cash back and no charge maintenance for 2 years. Grand Marquis, number 1 across the board. Make it number 1 with you.
Imagine yourself in a Mercury now.
Live from KCBD-TV Lubbock, this is News Channel 11 at 10.
A city street name change is looming for Lubbock. Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
You may remember in September, city officials renamed Avenue H after Buddy Holly for the festival in his honor. Business owners along the street wanted the name change to be permanent. News Channel 11's Stacey Spanos joins us now to tell us if it will be.
Well, it didn't take much persuading Karin and Abner to convince the Planning and Zoning Commission to change Avenue H to Buddy Holly Avenue. But first, according to a city ordinance, the commission had to make sure that more than 50% of the property owners along the road agreed to that change. Now, at the meeting tonight, the Lubbock Chamber of Commerce gave a petition that showed that 68% of the property owners agreed with it. Then the commission heard from the public.
I wasn't planning on coming to this meeting tonight, but my 10-year-old son back there that came with me said, Daddy, we need to go to that public hearing. He said, I think that's a good thing to change the name of Avenue H to Buddy Holly Avenue.
I've met my wife on Avenue H. I went to picture shows 4 times a day on Avenue H, on every Saturday. And I don't see any reason in the world to change it to Buddy Holly Avenue.
Now, most people were in favor of this. There was one woman who said she was not, but the reason she gave was she didn't think Avenue H was big enough. She thought that the city should change Avenue Q to Buddy Holly Avenue to do more justice.
So what happens now?
Well, the city council has to take this, and they will hold another public hearing. If they hear all the comments and then agree on it, we'll get a name change. That should be, I don't want to give a time frame, the next meeting or next 2 meetings.
Soon, though.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, Stacey. Well, the city of Lubbock wants some recognition in Austin at the upcoming legislative session. So today, the city council approved a legislative program. 2 consultants and a city legislative team have outlined 37 issues of concern for Lubbock. Among them, opposition to measures that would end unilateral annexation or that would establish a debt limit, but support for legislation that would give the city the option to dispose of the municipal coliseum. That could become a possibility once a new Texas Tech arena is built.
Financial finesse finds a home in Lubbock. The Distinguished Budget Award is the highest budget honor bestowed from Austin to a local level. Receiving the award continues a long tradition of recognition for Lubbock. The city has won it all but once in the last dozen years.
Also today, the plan to speed up downtown traffic has a green light tonight. The City Council approved the first reading of an ordinance that authorizes the removal of 7 downtown traffic signals. The lights have been deemed unnecessary by the City Traffic Department. They will be replaced with stop signs.
All Lubbock police officers carry weapons, but they don't all carry the same kind of gun. Now the department is in the process of changing that. They are training officers and investigators on the newly issued Sig Sauer 40 caliber semi-automatic handgun. The city bought 330 of the SIGs to issue to the veteran officers, but grandfathered those who already had one so they don't have to make the switch. All rookies coming into the academy, though, will be issued and trained on the new guns. Officers switching from a revolver to the semi-automatic will attend a 2-day class to become accustomed to it.
It's a growing problem in Lubbock schools, a lack of substitute teachers. LISD needs 400 active substitute teachers, but right now there are only 350 and not all of those are active. School officials say it's the worst shortage in 4 years.
There's an obvious and a very clear drop in the number of available substitute teachers.
LISD is lowering the standards for subs from a background of 90 college hours to 60 college hours, but some substitutes say a pay increase would work better. Currently, substitute teachers are paid $50 a day.
A blaze at a distillery in Kentucky is keeping firefighters busy tonight. The fire that began around 2 o'clock this afternoon in a warehouse created rivers of flaming whiskey running through the Heaven Hill Distillery in Bardstown. 4 warehouses have been completely engulfed in flames now. 100 firefighters, meanwhile, from nearby towns are battling the blaze. Workers are reporting oak barrels filled with whiskey are exploding.
A scandal has rocked the Army Ordnance Center in Maryland's Aberdeen Proving Ground. The Army is bringing rape and sexual harassment charges against 2 military trainers. More than a dozen female recruits are said to have been victims, but Army officials are interviewing up to 2,000 other women who trained at the center.
Secretary of State Warren Christopher has become the first member of President Clinton's cabinet to quit since his re-election. President Clinton accepted Christopher's resignation today. Christopher says his successor should be someone who can provide forceful leadership and who has lots of tenacity, endurance, and stamina.
Jurors will begin deliberations tomorrow in the case known as a talk show slaying. A guest on a Jenny Jones show that never aired is accused of killing another guest who revealed a homosexual crush on him. Prosecutors call the slaying an ambush.
Authorities in Nigeria may have to wait for daylight to learn what happened to a Boeing 727 that lost contact with air traffic controllers tonight. The Aviation Development Corporation jet was en route from the southern city of Port Harcourt to Lagos with 141 people on board.
And here's John Robison with his first forecast.
Well, it looks like it's going to be a chilly night on the Texas South Plains with clear skies, so we're calling for nighttime lows generally in the mid to upper 20s to start out your Friday morning. Then tomorrow afternoon, sunny and mild, much like today, with temperatures around 60, maybe 62 degrees. With the weekend, we'll talk about how good that's looking when I come back.
Sounds great. Thank you, John.
Channel surfers in Lubbock will soon be able to flip to more stations on cable. Today, Cox Cable announced it is adding 14 new channels. The new channels follow an expansion program using fiber optic technology. The new cable network, MSNBC, is one of the additions, along with ESPN2 and the Science Fiction Channel. Cox says there will be a slight rate increase for the new services. Homes with fiber optic cable will have several new channels today. Cox says most cable homes in Lubbock will have it within the month.
And still to come on News Channel 11 at 10, Health-wise, we look at a deadly complication of the flu.
And we'll sit down and go in depth with the governor. We'll talk about the possibility of property tax relief.
This portion of News Channel 11 is brought to you by Gene Messer Ford and Mitsubishi.
Why get your next used car or truck from Gene Messer Ford? With more than 300 used vehicles to choose from, you'll find exactly what you're looking for. And every used car comes with our exclusive worry-free 48-hour satisfaction guarantee. With financing available for more than 20 lenders, getting that used car is easier than ever. Get your used car today from Gene Messer Ford.
Get a used car at Gene Messer. Hey, hey, hey.
Produce at Lowe's, it's farm fresh. I've never found any fruit that was not in season or of bad quality. The variety of produce at Lowe's is wide. I found every different kind of fruit and vegetable that I've ever needed for any recipe.
I would know quality produce because we are in the trucking business and we haul produce. We go directly to the fields and pick it up. You can just spot fresh produce.
Get this, she wants to change her name from Heather to Feather. She's very picky about her food.
Fried
Bill thinks he's losing his little girl and his Kentucky Fried Chicken. So last night he brings home a bucket.
Hello.
With original recipe, extra tasty crispy, and now tender roast. They'll mix it any way you want. Bill's got his fried pieces, Heather's got her roasted pieces.
Thanks, Dad.
And I've just got a piece.
Mix your chicken choices any way you like it at KFC. Now mix and match a 12-piece bucket with your choice of original recipe, extra tasty crispy, and tender roast any way you like it, just $10.99.
Watching Abner Euresti, Karin McKay, meteorologist John Robison, and Pete Christy Sports. This is News Channel 11 at 10.
Tomorrow is a big day in the history of property taxes in this state. Earlier this year, Governor George W. Bush appointed the Citizens Committee on Property Tax Relief. Committee members traveled throughout Texas gathering input at public hearings, including this one here in Lubbock in August. Now, they will officially report their findings tomorrow, which the governor hopes will set the stage for lawmakers to consider the issue in the upcoming session. Now, Governor Bush says he's concerned about property taxes because they have doubled in the past 10 years, while property values until recently have declined. And we want to thank Governor Bush for taking time to talk to us from Austin. Governor, first of all, why are you making property tax relief a priority in the upcoming session?
My worry, Abner, is that high property taxes will create an environment in which people aren't willing to either move their businesses to the state of Texas, or people won't feel comfortable with owning homes. And so I thought it was an issue that needed to be addressed now before it becomes an acute problem.
We're talking about a lot of money, about $10 billion that schools get from local property taxes, and replacing that revenue will be tough, especially since you've ruled out an income tax, have you not?
I have ruled out a personal income tax. I don't think anybody is advocating. As a matter of fact, the report that will come out Friday, which I've had a glimpse of, is not going to advocate total eradication of property taxes to fund the schools at the local level, because there is a sense of ownership when people at the local level provide some sense of funding. And so I tend to agree with that. I think there ought to be some component of local enrichment. But during the course of my campaign in 1994, I said that the state of Texas did it backwards. We funded our schools locally and we governed our schools centrally. And I wanted to reverse that. I want to govern the schools locally, and I want the state to be the primary funder of public schools. It's not the case today, and that's one of the benefits for looking at property tax relief, and that is to say less property taxes for the schools and more central revenues coming from the state of Texas to fund schools.
Now, because you've taken a personal income tax off the table, many believe that Texas is not really serious about property tax relief. In fact, AFL-CIO President Joe Gunn even called these hearings a hoax.
Well, I do hear a lot of noise from the personal income taxers, people who believe the personal income tax would be good for Texas. I respectfully and strongly disagree with Mr. Gunn and the other proponents of a personal income tax. I think it would be bad for Texas. People told me when I first got elected that you can't possibly achieve this without, a personal income tax. I've proven them wrong. I've showed different forms of revenues that will enable Texas to have property tax reduction. And I don't think, name calling makes sense, nor do I think exaggerating what, as Mr. Gunn has done, the benefits of property tax, but I think a personal income tax should be and will be off the table.
So you can reassure those who oppose a personal income tax and those who don't see another alternative for property tax relief?
Abner, I will say this to the people of Lubbock, Texas, and all of Texas. So long as I'm the governor of Texas, we won't have a personal income tax. I said that during my campaign. I now sit here as the sitting governor and say it as the governor of the great state of Texas. I think a personal income tax would be bad for Texas, and I'm against it, unalterably against it.
Thank you for joining us. And again, we should have a better idea tomorrow of where the property tax relief effort will be headed. Karen?
All right, thank you, Abner. And are we still going to be shivering in the morning?
I think so. You know, we had a low of 27 this morning, Karen. Tomorrow morning we could be that or even colder. So kind of a chilly start, but it'll be warming up for the weekend, and we'll talk about all that next.
Is there a new business mushrooming on the South Plains?
We harvest them every morning.
News Channel 11 takes you inside this organic farm Friday night at 10.
Your world is complicated enough. Choosing a new car should be simple. Take the 97 Lumina from Chevrolet.
Advanced safety technology, quiet ride engineering.
Look, it's simple. Lumina is a Consumer's Digest Best Buy with dual airbags, power windows, power locks, air conditioning, and more, all for $269 a month. The 1997 Lumina in Chevrolet. Your world just got simpler.
See your #1 Chevy team dealer, Shamrock Chevrolet.
Problem. The lumber you've been buying is giving you bad vibes. Solution? Go to Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse. We've sold more lumber than anyone in the world. Everything from treated lumber and construction lumber to over 40 different kinds of plywood, even specialty hardwoods. And nobody beats Lowe's prices, guaranteed. So for lumber that's a cut above, go to Lowe's. Because Lowe's knows lumber.
Meteorologist John Robison's forecast has received the AMS seal of approval.
Well, it's being a chilly evening, or it has been a chilly evening on Texas South Plains. It looks like it's going to be a very cold morning through all of west and central Texas. There's a freeze warning in effect for most of West Texas, including all of the Texas South Plains. The reason, temperatures will likely dip into the mid-20s to around 30 degrees from Amarillo all the way down to Snyder. We're already getting close to that mark. 40 in Lubbock and 40 down in Midland, holding at 43 in the Panhandle, but if you'll notice the little broken line indicating a trough here, that's a little secondary surge of cold air with this high pressure that's going to build in tonight and keep those temperatures plummeting down to the 20s tomorrow morning. Then hopefully over the next 36 to 48 hours, all of this cold weather will shift on to the east. And you can see it's rather mild. In fact, 53 in Houston and some 60s now in deep South Texas. As we check out our conditions in Lubbock, tower scan view. It's been a beautiful evening, a beautiful sunset to go along with that. Clear in the city and 40, humidity of 36%, barometer 30.22 and still rising. A light westerly wind at 7 miles an hour. And that may be the key factor as to how cold we are tomorrow morning, because the winds may pick up a little bit, and if they're a little higher in speed, we won't be quite so cold, but we'll still be in the 20s. 27 is where we started out this morning. We made it to a high of 61 for this afternoon. There's not a lot to look at from our standpoint on the U.S. satellite, but we'll show you those strong thunderstorms moving out of Texas last night, down to the Gulf of Mexico, approaching the eastern seaboard. Those are along the line of that frontal system. It's moving out of our region, moving on to the east. As it does, notice how colder temperatures and a pocket of 20s reach now all the way down into northern and central Colorado. Then you get the moderating temperatures down to the 60s in the Texas coast, and still some very nice 60s and 70s along the southeast and down into Florida, and obviously out in the southwest, some 60s and 70s there. But coming back to tomorrow morning around the South Plains, depending on the winds, but under clear skies, we're going to see nighttime lows as low as 24 in Littlefield, 26 in Brownfield, 29 in Matador, 30 in Snyder. There may be a heavy frost, by the way, in those eastern counties tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon's highs will be close to what we had today, although the winds will not be as strong. They should be around 10 to 15 miles an hour by midday. 63 in La Mesa, 59 in Plainview, 58 in Matador, 60 in Snyder. But the skies will be clear tonight, mostly sunny on Friday. That's the story for Lubbock. We'll start out at around freezing at 8 o'clock. It'll be in the upper 40s by noon, around 60 at 5 o'clock. And look for the winds to return to the southwest late in the afternoon at 10 to 20 miles an hour. Here's how that weekend is shaping up. After a cold start Friday morning, 26, 62 tomorrow. Saturday and Sunday afternoon, we should be in the low to mid-70s, and that trend should carry through Monday and Tuesday, even through Wednesday, meaning things are looking very good for the Texas Tech and Texas football game coming up Saturday night. It'll probably be fair skies. As the game starts, we'll be in the 60s, probably fall into the 50s before it ends.
But, again, a cold start tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow morning, definitely.
Thank you, John.
And coming up in sports, why is the Monterey football team cheering for rival Coronado?
And health-wise, a new device that will help thousands connected to dialysis.
This portion of News Channel 11 is brought to you by Gene Messer Toyota.
It's new, it's improved, and it costs less. Can you believe it? The all-new redesigned 1997 Toyota Camry costs even less than a 96. Believe it. The all-new 97 Toyota Camry is better than ever, and you can get yours today at Gene Messer Toyota. The all-new 97 Camry is smoother, it's quieter, it's safer, it's more powerful, and it costs less. See the all-new 97 Camry today at Gene Messer Toyota.
You gotta have fire. Slapping, lapping, fancy flames, flicking chicken from every side until marinated bird and garlic and lime has turned from good into sublime. Oh, what has Chili's thus created? Why, it's margarita grilled chicken consummated, served horizontally, grill marks up on a tostada with a lot of what your mouth waters for. That rib stick and margarita grilled chicken, 'cause Chili's grills like no place else.
Hey, you on the couch. You could stay there or drive a new Ford Ranger. Let's compare. Your couch has some loose change. The Ranger has $1,000 cash back. Your couch has armrests. The Ranger has lots of cool stuff. Your couch goes nowhere. Your Ranger goes anywhere. And if you stay on your couch, you'll miss out on a Ranger for only $199 a month. Let's face it, the Ranger's a better choice. Besides, no one's going to call you a Ranger potato. See your Texas Ford dealer today.
You're number one. It's time to celebrate. So your Mercury dealers are having a Grand Marquis Success Celebration because Mercury Grand Marquis is the #1 selling full-size car in the Southwest. It's also #1 in owner loyalty. And if safety's a #1 priority, Grand Marquis just received the government's highest front crash test rating, 5 stars. Plus, it's the only one with $1,000 cash back and no charge maintenance for 2 years. Grand Marquis, #1 across the board. Make it #1 with you.
Imagine yourself in a Mercury now.
Health-wise, it's estimated 160,000 Americans require dialysis to treat kidney disease, but that life-saving treatment carries a risk, the formation of blood clots. And now the Food and Drug Administration has cleared a device to break down the clots without surgery. It's called simply the Clot Buster, and when it's placed at the site of a blood clot by a trained physician, the Clot Buster circulates and breaks down the clot to a liquefied state. Studies show use of the Clot Buster has almost a 97% success rate. Now, if you put all the smokers in Texas together, how big a group do you think that would be? The Centers for Disease Control released new numbers today on the percentage of smokers in every state, and Texas is somewhere in the middle with 23% lighting up. Kentucky wins with 27%, no surprise with tobacco, a big industry there. And the 2 states where you'll find the least amount of cigarette smoke, California and Utah. Now, along with the changing leaves and the colder weather comes the inevitable flu season. And tonight, Dr. Red Duke tells us if you'll just get your vaccination before Thanksgiving, you probably won't have to worry about the flu.
Each year, an estimated 20,000 to 40,000 Americans die from complications of the flu. The best defense we have against this fairly common cause of death is a simple flu vaccine. For some folks, this vaccine is critical. For instance, anyone over age 65 is at increased risk for serious complications, and all should be vaccinated. Also, individuals with chronic diseases like heart, kidney, or lung disorders or diabetes should get an annual flu shot. Anyone who works around a lot of people needs a yearly flu shot because they can't avoid being exposed to some of their coughing and sneezing. But what about the fear of flu vaccination side effects?
You may get a local arm tenderness. You will not get the flu from the flu vaccine. This is a misconception, and those people who feel they actually got it probably actually got the flu.
The vaccine's protection doesn't kick in for about 10 days after getting it, so be sure you get yours before Thanksgiving. That way you're sure you'll be covered during the winter flu season, and do it every year.
The patient has to remember that the influenza virus mutates, changes its coat, turns from a red coat to a blue coat year after year, and you never can be confident that the vaccine you got the year before will protect you this next year.
If you have any doubts about getting a flu shot, why don't you talk to your doctor? But remember, it is the best defense we have against influenza. The University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston, I'm Dr. Red Duke.
Coming up next on News Channel 11 at 10, actually later, all that glitters is gold tonight for one safe-cracking artist.
And the Lady Raiders take to the court to face a touring hoop team from Hungary.
This portion of News Channel 11 is brought to you by Methodist Hospital. There is a difference, the Methodist difference.
When I was a kid, my grandfather was in the hospital and I was worried. But my parents told me he was being cared for by the best doctors around. The confidence they felt is still in my memory, and I knew it was exactly that kind of caring and assurance I wanted to give others when I decided to become a doctor. Now I'm part of a unique group of physicians who share that same caring philosophy, Methodist Medical Group. MMG allows us to devote more time to what we're really here for, always keeping our patients first.
Sisters, babies, grandparents, mamas, dads, turkeys, friends and kids, bringing families together with packages under $30. Family photo.
I'd like a word with all you folks who think you're too busy to play Lotto Texas every drawing. Whoa! It's multi-draw, the easy way to play Lotto Texas. Just round up your 6 favorite numbers, or use Quick Pick. And you can keep those numbers working for up to the next 10 drawings. So with multi-draw, your chances of winning multiply.
The estimated jackpot is $10 million. Good luck.
For 5 spectacular days and fun-filled nights, visions of sugar plums will be dancing through the minds and hearts of adults and children alike at the 1996 Holiday Happening, presented by the Junior League of Lubbock. It all begins with premiere night on Wednesday, featuring Harry Connick Sr. Then enjoy Ladies' Day on Thursday, breakfast with Santa, and the Saturday night extravaganza on Saturday. Family Day on Sunday with Dashaway Market Hall shopping daily, including over 100 merchants. It's the 1996 Holiday Happening, November 13th through the 17th at the Lubbock Memorial Civic Center.
Later on the Tonight Show, get the scoop on Matt LeBlanc's accidents on the set of Friends. I'm just going, oh, and I look up, and there's Anthony Edwards right there. Yeah, plus, Phil Collins sings, and he's pretty good at comedy, too. Ice, the musical horse, of course, and Jay's Day in L.A.
Stars selling maps to regular people's homes.
NBC tonight, and tomorrow, don't miss the return of Kelsey Grammer.
One of those games that if you're doing play-by-play, you use a lot of numbers, right?
That's right. This team, boy, I hope I can even say their team's name right. Zala Volin. Who's she, you ask? It's not a she, it's a them. The touring Hungary hoop team came to town tonight, faced the Texas Tech Lady Raiders. Be it an exhibition game, this one doesn't count in the standings, but that didn't diminish the excitement out at the Coliseum. Everybody went out to see Marcia Sharp and her Lady Raiders. 7,000 on hand for this one, and they would see freshman Keitha Dickerson come up with the steal. She'll coast in for the easy deuce. She had 14 on the night. Then it's another freshman, a couple of these fantastic freshmen coming into Tech. Another steal, Melinda Schmucker, the steal, and she will coast in for the layup. She had 10. Tech had an 8-point lead at the half. Then it's not a freshman, it's Alicia Thompson. All the load is on her shoulders this season. Alicia led all Tech scorers 24 tonight, 69-58. Tech gets the win. Marcia Sharp very impressed with her 2 fantastic freshmen.
Now we really need to step up and get some experience, and you probably watched us do that with both freshmen for quite a few minutes tonight because they're going to be such a valuable part of our basketball team, and they both stepped in and I thought had pretty fair opening nights for their careers, both in double figures, and thought made some great decisions on both ends of the floor.
To the NBA, where Houston's Charles Barkley was beaten up on Rocky, the Denver Nugget. Is he done with him? No, kick him some more. But could Houston beat up on Denver on the court tonight? Clyde Drexler glides in for the hoop. Right now, nobody's winning. It's 88-88 in the fourth. Houston looking to go to 5-0 on the season. Texas Rangers manager Johnny Oates and New York's Joe Torre were both named American League Manager of the Year today. Both received 89 points in balloting, and with no runoff or absentee ballots, they tie for the AL Manager honors. High school football tonight. Paladuro knocks off Lubbock High 25-8. The Western to finish the season 0-5 in district, 1-9 overall, but that does not display how tough the Westerners played all season long. congratulations still, even though they're 1-9, to Joe Loudermilk and the Westerners. Now, I know you're going to be joining me in the end zone tomorrow in the news at 10. A lot of great games tomorrow night. Monterey needs to beat Amarillo to clinch a District 3-5A playoff spot. Now, if the Plainsmen lose, they need to beat rival Coronado beat Tascosa. When was the last time Monterey was rooting for Coronado? They rooted for them.
It's been a long time, but I'm pulling for those Mustangs. You know, go Stangs, go all the way. Get those Tascosa Rebels.
In the last 2 weeks, the two communities have probably pulled more for each other than you ever seen before. You saw them last week. We had a lot of our people out there when they're playing Tascosa really pulling for them. We'll be pulling for them up in Amarillo, and I know they'll be pulling for us back here in Lubbock, and hopefully we pull out there the co-championship.
Can't we all just get along? I think we can. College football tonight, the undefeated 16th-ranked Wyoming Cowboys leading San Diego State 24-21 late in the fourth quarter. Meanwhile, you might not know, but there is a chance Texas Tech could clinch the first Big 12 South Division title on Saturday. First, the Red Raiders must beat Texas 6 o'clock at Jones Stadium. And if Oklahoma State defeats Oklahoma, Tech would clinch the title. So the Red Raiders know their clash with UT is a big one.
Yeah, all we got to do is just go out and to perform to the best of our ability and to be the best team that we can be. And I trust God that on Saturday when we play Texas, I know they're going to come in fired up and ready, because they've lost some games that they probably should have won. So it's going to be a dogfight.
Time to continue the countdown to clip-off. If Texas Tech beats Texas, then Chancellor John Monford's going to have his head shaved. We told you 2 days ago, took off a little more. Today we take off quite a bit more. Tomorrow we'll take it all the way off and see what John Monford could look like bald should Texas Tech beat Texas. Now, as is the case before every Texas Tech game, I'll make a prediction using some preposterous Pete-like method. And so far, we're 5-0 with our picks. Tomorrow at 6, I'll have my Texas Tech Texas prediction. Now, since we're playing the Longhorns, I went out to the Alicia Ranch today in Lubbock where they have tons of Longhorns, and I stated ground. I showed everybody it was Red Raider land, and what I had to do was kick a field goal through the uprights using a Longhorns horn. So we'll have to see if I can kick a field goal through the horns there tomorrow if I do it. We'll see that tomorrow at 6 o'clock. It's very interesting.
Were you nervous? Were you nervous out there?
I didn't get gored.
You didn't hit it in the head or anything, did you, Pete?
You'll see.
All right, thanks.
Coming up, one man's junk turns into a museum's treasure, a golden moment coming up.
Hey, you're young, active. What are you doing watching TV? Get out and get into a 1996 Sonoma by GMC. With standard four-wheel ABS, a smooth car-like ride, and all the versatility of a truck, Sonoma not only gets you where you're going, it takes you places you never imagined. Don't miss out on life or your chance to get a great deal on the 1996 Sonoma before the season ends. See how much fun you can have in a Sonoma. See your West Texas GMC dealer today.
Affiliated quality means you don't have to buy unknown brands to get great prices at your Affiliated Foods member stores. Stock up on refreshing Surefine soda, 2 liters, just 59 cents. Hormel Little Sizzlers, 10 to 12 ounce package, 99 cents. Wesson Oil, 48 ounce bottle, just $1.99. And Bar S sliced bacon, the 1 pound package, just $1.59. Get the Affiliated advantage at these Affiliated Foods member stores.
I think a Wal-Mart MasterCard sounds fantastic.
Walmart has a credit card? Absolutely. We've done the Walmart card the Walmart way.
It's just a credit card with low interest. It's simple. A fixed low interest rate is perfect.
It's a Walmart card, but you can use it wherever they take MasterCard.
You can't always pay it off at the end of the month, so of course, low interest rate helps enormously.
We've always tried to save people money, and this is just one more way to do it.
Call 1-800-858-3100 for your no annual fee Walmart MasterCard from Chase.
I'm so surprised that we didn't offer this card years ago. We should be ashamed of ourselves.
Sunday savings strike again this Sunday at the new Frontier. That's right. Frontier Dodge Jeep Eagle will be closed this Saturday to cheer the Red Raiders to victory. But after the game, we'll be back, marking down every Dodge car, truck, van, and caravan, every Jeep, and every used car and truck for a giant 10-hour sale this Sunday. Every car and truck reduced, and all factory incentives still apply. So drive home with big savings. Buy during the giant 10-hour sale this Sunday.
Driving the new Frontier.
Closed captioning on News Channel 11 is provided as a community service by Joe Arrington Cancer Research and Treatment Center at St. Mary Hospital.
True or not, here's a story everybody will be talking about tomorrow. Former newsman Pierre Salinger says he has a document proving the Navy accidentally shot down TWA Flight 800. The former ABC News correspondent won't say who wrote that document, but he says it came from someone he describes as an important person linked to the government. Salinger says the document shows the downing happened as the Navy conducted missile tests off Long Island. Spokesmen for the Navy and the FBI heatedly deny that story. The FBI did receive dozens of calls from people claiming to have seen a missile at the time of the explosion.
Now, on a much different note, we'll close with this, what sounds like a movie. The secret of a century is solved tonight. A safe donated to the Pioneers Museum in Colorado Springs was locked with a lost combination and no clue to its contents. Locksmith turned safe cracker Joe Barry broke the bank when he finally succeeded in cracking the combination. Turns out about 150 pounds of gold ore are inside that safe donated by an eccentric millionaire. Well, tonight all that glitters is gold there in Colorado Springs. The value of the ore is not yet known.
Why didn't just blow it up? It's more exciting. That's our report. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.